Hello and welcome back to Urban X Files. My name is Keith, and today I'm going to read some stories that were sent in to me by people who've experienced their own hauntings and paranormal experiences. And today's story is about a couple who had moved into a recent new apartment after they had to leave or flee their last apartment due to chronic hauntings. Now, the couple had recently moved into this new apartment. It was larger, it was brighter, it was a new start for the couple. Now, it's a recently built 1-year-old condo, and the building is in a quiet part of the city, away from traffic and noise pollution. It's the only building in 3-mile radius in either direction. We are on the top floor, so we don't listen to our neighbours upstairs, and we have no neighbours beside us. The whole complex sits adjacent to a forest with multiple trails and a large lake. What we thought was paradise. The first month we were there, we had no paranormal occurrences happen, no suspicious activity, nothing to suggest that the haunting from our previous apartment had followed us. And then even the cat was not troubled, so we thought we'd found the perfect place to start the rest of our lives. Now, my boyfriend and I were sleeping better, we were hiking all the time, we were going outside, we were enjoying the place where we lived, especially the lake. And we enjoyed the patio, and we even had a little green room for our plants. We started to grow our own herbs and spices and vegetables and bits of fruit that we could grow. And we hadn't needed my cousin to cleanse this place since we had moved here. We were very positive about finally being free from the ghosts and demons we were tormented by. I should say that my cousin is a medium of sorts, and he helped us in our previous apartment to cleanse it as best as he could, because we were being disturbed all the time by these horrific, upsetting disturbances. Now, we got comfortable and we settled in a few months into this, and then once we dropped our guard, that is when these things slowly started to happen. It started small, as it always does, with missing keys and shifted furniture, the cat being touched by something, and of course, small noises like scratching and tapping. We ignored it the best we could, and we made noise in our space and stayed positive through all these new experiences. But one night, we couldn't ignore it any longer. We had opened the closet in the hallway to fold some bedding and had washed and stored it away when the door was ripped out of my boyfriend's hands and it was slammed shut with force. We had all of our windows and doors closed, and there was no air conditioning on. There was nothing we could say that would rationally explain the door slamming shut as forceful as it did. And when we tried to open it again, it wouldn't budge. It was as if something was forcing this door shut. There is no lock on the door, so we just assumed it was jammed. We wedged it open, and when we did, we saw little scratches on the bottom of the door that we never noticed previously. I believe these were fresh scratches. Could it have been the cat? Possibly. But as things go further into the story, you'll begin to understand why we don't think it was the cat. Now, this was the point where my boyfriend decided to call my cousin to do another cleansing. During the cleansing, you could hear rapid tapping on the ceiling. I will say we have no upstairs as we were on the top floor. And we have no neighbours to the sides, neither. And we could hear heavy breathing coming from the linen closet. There was nothing there. And when she'd finished, she told us that she felt as if we were in some danger, which made us very paranoid and freaked us out. The next thing to happen made us both sick to our stomachs. We were asleep on the couch after watching a movie when the door of the linen closet directly beside the TV whipped open with force. All of the sheets in the cupboard had fell onto the floor, and strangely enough, the door fell off its hinges. For context, the sheets were all in labelled plastic tubs, and they were hanging on the wall on a metal bar. The tubs were not moved when the sheets and towels were tossed onto the floor, neither was the bar. Ever since then, we have had the closet door swing open and close randomly, and had towels and sheets thrown all around, and my boyfriend swears he can see a dark shadow in the shape of a small person in the corner of the closet when it opens and closes. The cat will not go near the door, and banging keeps coming from the walls, and we hear scratching sounds at night. Last night was horrible. We were in bed trying to sleep when we heard a massive bang coming from this closet. My boyfriend was fed up at this point and screamed at it to shut up so we could go to sleep. We saw a black head-shaped figure poke around the corner of the door frame. It had red eyes and was solid black. We couldn't see through it, it was a solid mass. We freaked out and we ended up sleeping in the car that night with our cat. The next morning we went in to make breakfast and found the apartment had been torn apart. Nothing was damaged except from a few photo frames, thankfully. We are glad we brought the cat with us. It looks as if the demon thing has found us again and now threatens to terror us in our new apartment. I'm hoping that we will continue to be safe from physical harm as long as possible, but this does not sound likely. As of yet, there have been no further updates on this story. What I found interesting about this story is that there was no dramatic scenes that come with it. It was simply a documented case of everything that's happened in the new apartment. I couldn't find the story of the pre-existing hauntings from the previous apartment. If I do so, I will relate these to you. I just wanted to tell you this story as I found it really interesting, because a lot of people assume that if it's a new building, it's not going to be haunted, there's no one's died there. But let me give you my understanding on how this new building is able to be haunted. We have possible few explanations. We have, obviously, which seems to be the case for this couple, that whatever it is that is following them is attached to them somehow, whether they had previously dabbled in a Ouija board or different things, I'm not sure. But the first possibility is that they had invited this entity into their lives unbeknown to them. The second is that you must remember that the dead will always outnumber the living. For every living person on earth, there was two people who created them, and then before them another two people who created them. So it goes on and on and on. So who's to say this field where this apartment was built had not been part of some freak accident hundreds, thousands of years ago, which still has left an imprint there. So you do not need to have an old house for it to be haunted. You could have a brand new house that just has something that doesn't sit right. Have you ever had any experiences like this yourselves? Has something followed you, or have you just moved into an old house and found these strange things? If so, please let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed today's video with many more stories to come. If so, please smash that like button. It helps. Take care and see you all in the next video. Peace.